Today we are in my kitchen and we're going to do some cooking today. I am sharing with you 5 recipes that all you need are ingredients from your pantry, from your fridge, from your freezer, but ingredients that you always have on hand. So we're going to go over these and I'm going to show you step by step how to cook them. I also have a full blog post with all the recipes typed out, so you can just refer back to that. But we are going to cook from our pantry, and these are recipes that I love to have on hand so that I'm not like, oh, I forgot to take out chicken from the freezer, so I need to get takeout and spend more money. No, these are ones that you can just cook on hand, and I love them. They're family favorites. They're so good. They're not the healthiest, but they're comfort food and they're cheap and easy to make. So let's get cooking.
First recipe we're going to make is a crustless chicken pot pie with cheddar bay drop biscuits. It is so good and so easy. Now, there is a couple different ways that you can make this. You can use a cream of chicken soup mix, or you can make it from scratch. I'm going to make it from scratch because that's just easier. So we're going to start with a 1/3 cup butter or margarine, melt that over medium heat. Then we're going to add a 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour and just mix that in. We're going to make a quick roux, and it does come together pretty quickly, so you have to make sure that you stir it well. It can look a little clumpy like this, but trust me, it's all going to melt down and it's still going to be delicious. Even if you have some clumps like this, don't worry, it's going to melt together perfectly. So we are just going to mix this over medium heat and let it all come together with no clumps. Then we're going to add in our chicken broth. So we're going to use 1 3/4 cup chicken broth. I use water and chicken bouillon, so you can use that, or you can use chicken broth, and this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, it smells so good already, and it is just a super easy meal with this creamy goodness in it. And then we're going to add our shredded chicken. I made this in the Instant Pot. You can use rotisserie chicken, chicken breast that you bake and shred, however you want to make it. But like I said, I made mine in the Instant Pot, just plain chicken, and then shredded it up with a hand mixer. Then we're going to do steamed vegetables, and I'm just going to microwave these, and according to the package, then we're going to add them in after it's microwaved. I like extra corn, so I added in a can of corn. That's totally optional as well, but I think it adds a little extra veggies and a nice little sweetness to it as well from using the sweet corn. So we're going to just mix that together, then pop it in the oven. We're going to have it in the oven for 30 minutes on 400 degrees. Then we're going to make the biscuit, and this is just Biscuit, and it is going to be just pancake mix and water. And then if you want, you can add some cheddar cheese as well. I like to. I always have this on hand, but if you don't have this on hand, totally fine to omit the cheddar cheese. I personally like using the slices of cheddar versus the shredded, just because it's more of a clumps of cheddar. So we're just going to mix the dough together and then drop them on the cookie sheet like this and just bake them. Doesn't have to be perfect or anything. I think that the more imperfect they are, the little nooks and crannies to get all that extra butter afterwards makes all the difference. And then we're just going to bake them. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Oh my gosh, they are so good and so easy to make. And I just serve this with a nice little spoonful of the mixture and a cheddar biscuit on top, and it is delicious and a family favorite.
As we all know, inflation is through the roof right now. We can't control prices. We can't control how expensive things are. But what we can control is how we spend our money, how we are budgeting for our groceries, what we're bringing into our home, and how we're meal planning, how we're meal prepping, and the different things that we're doing to save money. I do have a course that I've had out for a couple of years now. It's typically $67 and it's on sale right now for $19. And I am doing this huge sale with this course because I want to help you guys. I want to make it super affordable so that anyone can afford it. And it's really going to help to give you the motivation to want to save money, to want to cut your grocery costs, and all the stuff you can find on the internet. But it's going to compile it. It's going to keep you all in one place and not spending hours and hours all over the internet watching the same videos with the same talking points, but give you a step-by-step plan on how to cut your spending, how to save money on groceries. It has printables, it has videos, it's amazing. But $19 on sale right now. So I'll have a link for you down below in the comments.
Next up, we are making some butter ranch chicken. This is another super easy meal. I am doing this in the crock pot, and we are just going to add our ranch seasoning over the chicken, and I just use the butter spread stuff from Aldi, the Country Crock, and I, rather than measuring it, I just put it on the food scale and zero it out, and then I take away the difference of the amount that I want. So that is a super easy way to do it. Then you're just going to cook it on the slow cooker. Even you're going to cook it low for 8 hours or high for 4 hours. And this is what it looks like when it's done. And you can literally just shred it with the tongs, or you can use an electric mixer as well to shred it that way. But it is so tender. You can see how I'm shredding it literally with just these tongs, which is amazing. Then I'm going to add in a bag of green beans and just let this cook for another 30 minutes. And it's all going to come together. And then that sauce is going to make the green beans so buttery and delicious. This is a way to get any kid or even adult to eat their veggies. Just serve it with lots of butter and ranch seasoning in there. Then this is what it looks like when it's done. Oh man, so good, so delicious. One of a family favorites. Next up is sweet and sour meatballs. These are another family favorite. We just need meatballs, then pineapple chunks, and sweet and sour sauce. We're gonna mix it all together. I like to use probably 3/4 of a bottle of the sweet and sour mix, not all of it, but that's totally up to you. And you want to drain your pineapple as well. And then you're just going to throw it in the crock pot and let it all cook together. And the sauce is going to thicken. And then you're just going to serve it over rice. I have these rice packets that I use that I'm going to show you at the end of the video how to make them. But it is a super easy way to just keep rice on hand and not have to cook it fresh every time. And trust me, it comes out perfect. My husband is super picky and he doesn't even tell the difference between fresh rice and the rice that I use in this meal prep. So definitely stay tuned for the rice recipe and how I do them, and I love it. Next, we're gonna make my chicken tortilla soup, and this is another family favorite. I'm not a soup person, but I honestly love this soup so much. So we're just gonna add 3 to 4 chicken breasts and then our chicken broth. I use the bouillon seasoning, like I said, rather than just keeping chicken broth because it always went to waste in my fridge. So I use that. Then we're going to set it to high pressure for 12 minutes in the Instant Pot. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to kind of skim off some of that extra fat, but we're going to leave the juices, the chicken broth, all of that in the Instant Pot because that's going to become our broth. But like I said, just kind of take out this little fat pieces here and there. Next, I'm going to shred it. I love using the hand mixer to shred the chicken. It is just so fast, so easy. You do want to be careful that you don't over shred it because it can turn out kind of all just mush. But definitely a super easy way to shred your chicken is using a hand mixer, and it is so fast, as you can see. This is what it looks like. It is perfectly shredded chicken. Now we're going to change the Instant Pot to slow cooker setting, and we're going to cook everything right in here. Here is everything that we're adding. So we're going to add our salsa, our corn, cream corn, regular sweet corn, 1 can of beans, and a jar of salsa, and then our taco seasoning as well. I don't measure my taco seasoning. I just measure with my heart and whatever looks good. But you can use 1 ounce of dry mix, or you can use the packets as well. I just have the big container from Costco. Then we're just gonna mix it all together. This is what it looks like when it comes out. It is so good, so delicious. And the cream corn actually gives a little bit of creaminess, and this is a great way to do it rather than adding cream. Or half and half you can, but since this is a pantry meal, we're not going to be adding that. But so delicious, I'm so excited. Next, we're just going to make a super easy recipe. This is one that I always like to have on hand, just chicken breast, side of couscous or rice or whatever you want to have as your side, and then a side of veggies. I'm going to do green beans with this. So I'm just going to cook the chicken breast in the Instant Pot, and we're just going to seal it up, put it on high pressure, and cook it for 14 minutes. This is what it looks like when it's done. The chicken, super easy. Then for the couscous, we're just going to add our water according to directions and a little bit of butter. Let that boil. Then we're going to turn it off the heat, and we are going to add in our couscous and our seasoning packet. Now, as you can see, I am doing this with one hand, so I definitely got couscous everywhere, but that's totally fine. Then we're just gonna mix it up and we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes without touching it with the lid on. While that's setting for 5 minutes, I'm going to put the green beans in the microwave and let those cook up. Then we are going to take the couscous and you just fluff it with a fork, and it is perfect every single time. Oh, this is so delicious. I love couscous, and it has a little bit more protein than rice. Then just plate it up. I added some barbecue sauce to the chicken and then have our green beans and couscous on the side. This is a super easy meal that I do this probably once a week, I would say. Now I'm going to show you how to make our rice packets. They are so easy to make and they're perfect for the freezer. So we're going to start with rice, and I previously made chicken in this, so I'm just going to use that same pot, not even wash it, and added some oil to the bottom, just some olive oil. Then I soaked and rinsed my rice. I washed it 2 to 3 times, I think it was. There's a little bit of water left over. That's totally fine. We're just going to add that to the Instant Pot. Then I'm going to add equal parts of water or chicken broth. I like to use chicken broth with bouillon. So if you have 2 cups of dry rice, you're going to add 2 cups of water. Then you're going to put it on sealing, and you are going to cook it just high pressure. You don't even need to use the rice button, but high pressure for 3 minutes. Then you're going to let it do natural release for 10 minutes. Don't do the manual release until after 10 minutes. Then once 10 minutes is up, then you can do the manual release. I always use a spatula or a big spoon or something to let it release. I do not use my plain fingers on that just because I don't want it to blow off. All right, 10 minutes is up, natural release is done, and this is what it looks like. You can see that it looks yellow because of the chicken broth, and it is so perfect. The absolute perfect rice that you can make. And it's a lot faster than the rice cooker as well. As soon as it comes out, I like to scrape off the bottom because it will start sticking to the bottom. So I like to just scrape it off the bottom when it first is done. Then I don't have to worry about it burning the bottom or sticking. But as you can see, it is the most perfect fluffy rice and so delicious. All right, let's make our rice packets. This is what they're gonna look like when it's done. Now we're gonna use the Glad Press and Seal Saran Wrap. You need to make sure it's the press and seal. I'll have it linked in the description, but that is vital to make these work. Then you're going to lay it flat. I just do like a foot by a foot, and you want sticky side up. Then I'm going to use a 1/2 cup measuring cup to get this portioned out. That's the perfect portion for myself. Jamie usually will eat 2 rice packets, but I like the 1/2 cup. Then you're going to stick on the bottom. It's a little hard to do with one hand, but you're going to smush it down a little bit, then fold over at one side, and then you're going to fold over the other side, and it's all going to stick together there. Then to reheat them, you're just going to stick them into the microwave and flip them every minute for about 3 minutes total.
Let's keep the conversation going. If you want to know ways that grocery stores manipulate you into spending money, they do, check out this video here. And if you want to know how to budget on an irregular income, if you make different amounts of money each month, work in commission, it's not always the same, can you budget? Yes, yes you can. Check out this video here.